Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Tuesday, October the 8th. The year's 2024. Let's talk trading. Gun to your head trading. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. I guess it was probably a week or so ago and talked about gun to your head trading, where it came up because a trader had asked me, if you had to make 5 pips, what would you do? And so it was kind of like, yeah, gun to your head, make 5 pips, or they pull the trigger. Well, there's really not enough information there, because is there a time constraint? Do you get to add into the trade? And so maybe the first entry makes 1 pip and the second entry makes 2 pips because maybe the first entry went against you. Do you get to add in? So I guess we can kind of make up the rules as we go along. And the other thing is, I guess, are you allowed to stop out and re-enter? Because we shouldn't lose any more in any one single trade than we're willing to lose. So, I mean, can you lose 10 pips, come back and make 15? Is that allowed? It's one of those things where you have to frame the situation properly. And that's something just to learn in trading. A lot of traders make a goal of, X number of pips, but they don't put, the other constraints on it. I mean, are you allowed to sit there for 24 hours and wait for that one perfect opportunity? Or maybe you only have a window, an hour or two to trade in the morning or after work or something. So, what would I do if somebody were to walk in here right now and say, okay, you have to make 5 pips? Can I do it? Well, let's see. Let's look at a chart here. And I've got something really simple here. So, we're above the daily open, we're above the weekly open. And this close is above the previous day's low. So we've already popped out of the wick zone. Let's look at what H4 is doing. It made a lower low, but then came and closed above the previous low. Closed above the previous low, and it looks like we're going to close above the previous low again. Okay, let's take a look at H30. Okay, H30 is red and everything below it's red. It looks like we've been making higher lows, and for a while we're making higher highs. Now we're making lower highs. Now let's drop down to M1. You see, you've got this 3100 and we're at 05. So if anything, it looks like you might want to push to the downside. Now, I've got about 10 minutes left in this video. The question is, can I make 5 pips in 10 minutes? Probably not. Okay, it's trying to make a higher high. It made a higher high. We've got a new big range bar here, 4.2 pips. I would say let's let this bar close. And maybe look to short. Now, I'm looking at the multimeter. Everything else is green except for M1. So let's let this bar close and see what happens. Okay, we just touched the big range bar. So I would look to go short. And we just had a gap up. I'd look to go short right about here. There we go. Just hit it. Let's see what happens. You can see it's bouncing there. Now, if you look to the left, you see all these wicks, failed to make a higher high. That was the rationale for taking a trade there. Now, the other parameter is if you get in the trade, do you have to does that one trade have to make the 5 pips? Let's see, where was it? I think I said to go short right about there. 8. Yeah, well, what was the open of this bar? Yeah, 8.4. Okay, so far so good. Okay. So what we don't want to close above that low. And notice I just had this one indicator on the chart because that's just what happens to be on this chart. But I was looking at the candles, looking at the wicks, figuring out, and see, boom, we just went back up to right about where we opened. And that's why I said you don't really want to close above that line. Now we still have about, 6 minutes left to see what happens here. Now, if you look left, you see right here, that was a previous range. And you can see here, the sellers push down, buyers push back, sellers push back down. So we got to see if the sellers can push back down to that 3104 level. And here we go. Lower low. I'll close above that previous low once again. And it just broke through. We've got 5 minutes left. Now, this almost looks like it bounced off the midpoint of that big range bar. And a lot of times, that's where the market structure traders look to make an entry, but they usually use a higher time frame to determine that level. And you can see here, it's right around the top of this candle where it bounced. So once again, analyzing the chart to look for those levels. So now it looks like price needs to break that level for it to go back up. There it goes. So what can we learn from this? Once again, when you're trading on the 1 minute and you get up a pip or two, sometimes you just have to take that pip, that small gain. It'll be interesting to see if price does come back down to that 3104 level. And we're almost back to our entry. So we made a lower high, lower low on that last candle. Now we've got close above low, or above previous low, I should say. We're right about the midpoint of that previous candle. I probably passed it. So lower low, lower high, but close above previous low. Okay, got fastest 15 minutes in trading is just about over. So once again, the lesson to be learned is take your pips when you can, and you notice we just got right back to the open, or right back to our entry. And sometimes if that happens, sometimes you just have to scratch the trade. And there's no shame in that. And there's no shame in taking a stop. Okay, we have lower high, lower low, and that close was above the previous low. So, fellow traders, we'll continue this. Remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.